How exciting is this? So fun. I don't really know how to keep up with the comments unless it's just you three the whole time, and then it should be no problem. Thank you, Jen, for trying to log into Facebook. That would be great. I would appreciate that. I think I sent you an invite this morning. I just figured out that I could send invites this morning, but I'm going to figure this out. This is live streams are going to be my jam because I want to be able to talk to you guys. I want to be able to interact with you guys. So, Franklin, good morning. Welcome. I'm already a little scared. I thought I might know every single person on here, and I already don't know a couple of people. I'm hoping that you'll be patient with my very first live stream and you'll think it's exciting as I do. So, thank you for giving me your time this morning. I know time is valuable and it's a precious resource. It's probably the most precious resource. So, thank you guys for giving me your time this morning. I truly appreciate it. Okay, it is 9 o'clock. So, we are going to get started. I would like to just forewarn you guys that my mother lives with me and I care for her and she's bedridden. And this morning she hasn't been able to really breathe. So I set up this hand. My husband, by the way, is standing by. So don't think I'm a terrible person. He is standing by and she's settled right now. But if I have this little coffee break thing that pops up, I had to go check on her. But hopefully we have that taken care of and there won't be any breaks. We'll just be able to get right into this. So, again, thank you guys so much for giving me your time this morning. This is my very first live stream. I am so excited. We are going to talk about something that's really important and something that I'm really passionate about. I'm thinking that either you are passionate or you're just a really good friend of mine. That's why you're here. And I appreciate both. So, welcome, Dolores. Oh, and it's afternoon from Germany. Wow, I can't believe I have someone from Germany. So, welcome. Thank you. And Jen cannot find us on Facebook. So, maybe it's just going to be YouTube today. But thank you for checking. If anyone else wants to pop over to Facebook that's a friend of mine, that would be wonderful. So, anyway, let's get started with why you're here today. If you're here, maybe you're feeling like crap because that was what we advertised. Like your body is not feeling great. Even if you are trying your best to be on a spiritual journey, you're trying to awaken or you feel like you're going through awakening, but why do you feel badly? So, let's cover a couple of things. As most of you know, I channel higher wisdom. My take on channeling is I know that some people channel very specific groups. I think if you really tune into them a lot, you will see that they will tap into other groups. And as a matter of fact, I've talked to a lot of those people specifically, and they say that when they're channeling, they don't even call themselves that name most of the time. And that is because, in my opinion, we are tapping into a higher, more loving, informational highway. And so that's why many of us are saying the same thing. And that's why it doesn't really matter where the information comes from. But I channel and I call my group Higher Wisdom. And when I asked them today about why we're feeling bad. And that's sort of the direction that I took with what we're going to talk about today. So they said there's actually two reasons that your bodies are feeling symptoms. And by symptoms, I mean that thank you, Jen, for sending mom love. That's appreciated. So symptoms, we're talking like could be flu-like symptoms. You could feel that bad, but most of the time it's going to be pretty subtle. For example, you're dizzy and you can't figure out why. You are your ears are ringing and it's really obvious and it's really uncomfortable. Maybe one ear is ringing or another ear is ringing, but you notice that it's louder than usual, or it's more noticeable. A lot of people are really fatigued right now. And a lot of people have said to me that they're irritable or they're extra hungry or they're not hungry at all. So I asked about these symptoms and they said that this is for two reasons. So, one is a spiritual awakening. And I've tried to share my screen so you can see this. Um, yeah, no, see, one is not even happening. So, dang. Thank you guys, by the way, being patient while I learn this because it's quite like learning another language. This software. So let's do this. I'm so sorry. I guess I'm gonna have to do it without my slides, which is really sad. But that's how it's gonna have to go. So okay. So I have all of this stuff on my screen. I warned you guys that you'd have to be patient for me. I promise there's going to be really important stuff that I cover. But let's just get me back on screen here. Um, okay. Hopefully you guys can see me remove this from the scene. There we go. Okay. So they talked about two problems that we're having right now. One that, well, it's not a problem. It's great that you're going through a spiritual awakening. And it's relevant to everyone because everyone is going to awaken at some point. And right now, there is a mass awakening going on. What does awakening mean? What does that mean exactly? Well, how I understand it, we all chose to come here to be alive. We all wanted to have a life experience. And in this particular time and space, we wanted to put veils of illusion on. What does that mean? That means that we have forgotten who and what we truly are, which is a spirit. We're a soul having a human experience. We are indestructible. We are creative. We are actually a fractal of the divine. We are a fractal of the source that has come here to express uniquely and in a different way than everyone else so that there's something fun to interact with and to feed back what we've learned to the group. That is sort of my understanding of why we're all here. We are we are pretending that we're an individual that's unique and different and special and we are contributing something to the whole. And it should be noted that the problem is that we came here equally to appreciate the different unique perspectives because it's so much more exciting when there's something different. So we put a veil of illusion on, meaning we have forgotten what we truly are. And we have forgotten how things actually work. And what I mean by that is that we are multidimensional, which is a huge concept to really understand. But essentially, there's energetic parts of us that are experiencing elsewhere. And we are just focused, we have focused our attention in this particular body at this particular time, but that's not who all that we are. And so when we're awakening, we're remembering that we are more than just this individual. So I like to think of it as our soul is our whole body. And right now, my shell, I'm just one finger of the whole body. So you are just one finger of your whole soul. And you have other parts of you that some people like to call that past lives. Some people know that that time doesn't really exist. So they're out there experiencing right now. And why this matters is because When you awaken, you start to have different experiences. You start to remember that you are other things. So you might develop more skills that you didn't realize you have. You might develop more interests that you forgot that you had. You might you might literally there's a lot of talk right now about jumping timelines. So you might literally wake up one day and your world feels different because you have more aligned with what you want to be and people that you want to interact with. So when you awaken, you are going to realize that you aren't just this individual you. You are also a lot more than that. And what's even more difficult to understand, given we're so focused in this current body, is that you're going to find yourself relating to everyone else and everything else because the truth is that you are connected, you are them. I had a beautiful slide to show this, how we descended from we were one and we've descended down to pretending to be separate. But as you awaken spiritually, you're going to connect more with others. You're going to remember what you are on in other multidimensional selves of yourself. And you're going to see the truth. The veil of illusion is going to come down. That's making you pretend like you are separate from everything else. So, not only are you feeling that or you're going to feel that, but your collective that you're submerged in, there are many, many people that are having these experiences right now. And it's kind of a harsh, it's it can shake your whole world, right? Because you you were used to focusing as you and you thought that time was linear and you thought that things had to go as planned, and you realize now that you can close your eyes and set an intention and meditate and maybe jump a timeline to where you're experiencing completely different, like, crazy things can happen when you awaken. But also a problem is that so you're submerged with a lot of people that are awakening and you're feeling what they're feeling too. So part 2 to that is that so how I see it, and I had a beautiful slide. I worked so hard yesterday on these slides that I can't even show you. It's tragic, really. But um, so imagine that we're going to talk about ascension now, which is different than awakening. So imagine that we were all whole um, and one, and we decided as a whole that it would be more interesting if we were all individual and unique. So we pretended to be separate. So we were whole and then we pretended to be separate. So we're down here and like feeling separate. And I had a whole chart of emotions, right? This oneness, which is also what feels most like unconditional love. So when people die, if they have a near death experience and they die and they've returned to oneness and they just say it was so loving, they didn't want to come back. They because it felt like unconditional love. Now, when you feel like you're separate and your body isn't connected to anything else, that's where fear was introduced. And a whole range of emotions was introduced when you were pretending to be separate. The bottom being separateness that goes along with fear. That the in the top of this chain of frequencies is oneness and love. So you descended down into separation. But now we are making our way back up into wholeness. Now one might have thought that this could take thousands of years, and maybe it will take thousands of years, but um actually from what my guides have been saying, and so many spiritual teachers that are channeling have been saying, is that we're quickly as a whole ascending. And a lot of people will call this the fifth dimension, which on this scale, the fifth dimension, maybe there's 12 at the top. It's kind of imaginary. No one really knows. Maybe there's 11, maybe there's 1,000. But the point is, right now in the third dimension, we feel very separate and we're very fueled by fear. And we are in the fourth dimension is all energetic. So no one lives in the fourth dimension. In the fifth dimension, up here, it's mostly love. It's connection. It's because you're on your way back to realizing you're not separate. So you don't have the same fear. Why are you going to punch someone in the face when you realize that's really still you? Hopefully you wouldn't. But anyway, not only are humans ascending, but the earth herself is ascending. Now, most of you, I think that if you were in this on this broadcast, you would have heard of the fifth dimension, and you would have heard that. Um, and I think that there's a lot of talk that you have to make a choice whether you're going to stay here in a fear-based world or you're going to go. My guides say everyone's going. So ready or not, here we come. And the earth is there's a measurable frequency. So it's called the Schumann resonance. And for whenever they started measuring it, or in the I think the early 1900s or something, it was always quite low. I want to say it's 7.83 hertz. And then lately, I think maybe about 6 years ago, they saw that the earth is would shoot way up to a frequency of like 100. And I noticed because I would get very dizzy. I would get very dizzy. And I oh, here we go. I think that you'll see. I have a maybe I have a slide that I can show you. I worked so hard on this. So, um, just to let you know, when there's see if you're this flame and around you is the earth, and around you are people that are ascending and people are there we go. The earth is ascending, the earth's frequency is higher. Your collective that you're in, they're having a spiritual awakening. You're going to feel this. You're going to feel it whether you're aware of it or not. That's why your coworker who has doesn't care at all about spirituality is feeling terrible and they don't know why. And so and it's hard, I know. You don't want to be the weird one in the room when you say, "Well, the earth is awakening. She wants to be based more in love." I mean, I'm usually the weird one in the room, but it's becoming a lot more common to talk about. But it's really true that you are standing in on the earth whose vibration is lifting. And even if you're trying to lift your personal vibration, it's hard. It is difficult. And there's a few different reasons for that. And there's also solutions to that. So we're going to talk about the energy centers a little bit. So hopefully I was clear that my guides, when I ask them about why we're feeling so bad, they say it's twofold because of a mass spiritual awakening. Again, you're energetically connected with human beings who are remembering they're more than just their individual self. And this can be challenging. It's exciting and it's fun and it's magical, but it also it's we're not used to it. We have been based in our fear-driven society since we were born. So we're just not used to it. We have to learn, right? And also, I should say that oh, someone's being really sweet, and I cannot say say your name. Snezana, I think that is. I probably messed that up, but thank you. She said even without my slides that you guys are understanding what I'm saying. So I hope that that is true. Um, And now I lost my train of thought, and I'm sure it was really important. Can someone tell me what I was talking about? I said this. I claimed that this would be funny. I didn't mean it in this way, but so yeah, we're submerging. I was saying something really good. Um, well, no one's going to remind me, so I guess it won't be bad if I don't finish that thought. But you're going to feel because we're not we oh yeah we've been taught that we decide pretty much everything using fear. It's how our it's oh thank you. Thank you. It is how our parents taught us. It is how our society taught us. We learned a long time ago that we should be positive rather than the negative, but it's just how we were taught. We were taught that we are fueled by fear. And so, what is happening right now is that since so many people are awakening and the earth herself is ascending, everything that was based in fear has to come down, and we've been seeing this since 2020. My guides have been saying this for probably 6 years now, is most people that channel have been saying it's going to look it's going to look a little chaotic, but don't be afraid of that. It's great. It's wonderful. It's so exciting because all of the things that were based in fear, we don't want them anyway. Like the government, I mean, I guess I shouldn't badmouth the government, but you can see that there's some problems, and there need to be solutions, and our educational system, and so much is based in fear. A lot of our relationships, most people pick their job out of fear, right? Because this pays better and this has better benefits. And so, that stuff has to change. It has to change because now your life is based in love, and your society is based in love. So as things start to crumble, since you're aware because you've watched this, can ground yourself in an awareness that it's all good. It's all for the greater good. I'm just going to feel positive. I'm just going to send out love and light to all the people that don't know what's going on, and it's going to be okay. Do not get wrapped up in the fear. That is hard. And if you can just monitor yourself and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm feeling pretty fearful right now. I accidentally turned on the news, and there's a lot of scary stuff going on." Nope. Nope, nope, no. You're gonna send out love. You're going to, just deal with what's in your court today. Okay. Which alone, and that's what we're going to talk about too, because alone that's hard enough. But by you raising your frequency, you are raising the frequency of the collective, and you are making the world a better place just by you making yourself secure and happy and more loving. So, on my slide that I don't have, when we were talking about oneness and love, and then down here was separateness and fear. I made this beautiful list of emotions, and there's actually frequencies attached to those. And so everything from, joy, excitement, and sure wish I would have printed those.
Are you guys still there? I did thank you guys for having patience, didn't I? I mean, I'm going to get better at this because I feel like I have something important to share, but my fancy microphone turned off, my camera turned off, no one's talking to me anymore. I don't know if you guys are there. It still says I'm broadcasting, which, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but can you guys let me know if you're here? Oh, still here. Oh, thank you, Mary, for being patient. I probably lost a few people I don't know in person, but if I didn't, thank you so much for being here. I need to maybe redo this in a future date where I actually know what I'm doing. You can't practice without going live. So, um, and so anyway. Okay, so I was talking about feeling the emotions of love and trying to stay tapped into the emotions of love because that is what your body is trying to move into a realm of unconditional love. So, if you are holding on to fear and anger and all of the lower emotions, guilt, shame, you are going to feel it in your body. Now, don't feel guilty about this. Just be aware. Just be aware that anything that I'm holding on to that's a negative vibration emotion is is preventing me from coming along with the earth and the collective that is moving toward unconditional love. And actually, it's a great indicator. If you're feeling like crap, then it's a great indicator that there's a little bit of work to do, which we're going to talk about. We're going to tell you how to adjust that. And believe me, I I mean, I do this. This is what I do all day, every day. And still, I've been feeling like I've been hit by a train. I have been craving sugar, candy, like a lunatic. I will go out in the middle of the night to buy candy, and which is not even like me. I don't even care about candy. I will buy a watermelon, nature's candy, and I'll just want to let's roll that in some sugar with some artificial dye that has numbers and letters in it. I mean, I feel you. The my ear ringing so bad I can't even hear. I can't hear you. I need a hearing aid. So I'm not judging. I'm just telling you that if you're not feeling it, there's a reason. So let's talk about the next portion, the important part. There are energetic centers in your body. Most of you here, probably along with me, have heard of the chakras, the 7 energy chakras. I had a beautiful slide that we're not going to see today. But there are 7. The number 1 starts at the base of your spine, and the 7th one is at the top of your head. And I had a beautiful slide that said which symptom probably went along with which blockage in your body. But it actually it didn't 100% have to be that way, but it makes sense. If you're feeling dizziness or ear ringing, you're in the top 3. So you've got an energy center in your throat, you have one in your third eye, and you have one at the crown. Well, dizziness and ear ringing, you probably have a blockage in one of those energy centers. If you are craving foods or you're not hungry, you're eating crap or you're not hungry, that could be down here in your second or third energy center. If you are if you're really wrapped up in the fear, maybe that's your first chakra, which is about stability. If you are sad for no reason, that could be your heart chakra. I'm trying to remember these. So a lot of people are saying that they're feeling, irritable or sad, or if you have just overall fatigue, like flu-like symptoms, you might have blockages in in all of these or many of them. And again, that's fine. We're human. we weren't taught to clear out these energy. We weren't even taught that we had energy centers. So it's fine. It's a good indicator. I need to do a little bit of work, or I need to pay attention. My body is telling me I'm not vibrating high enough. I want to be vibrating higher, but I'm not. So where are there some blockages? So I'm actually going to try to look at this this slide, because my guides told me a list of things that we can do, and I'm going to make sure that you guys get that information. One of these days I might actually channel live, but today it seems like it might be a disaster. So I had this fancy little, I worked so hard on this yesterday. Like, look, what symptoms are you having? I saw that Mary says that she's hardly ever hungry. Yes. Well, I'm not having that problem, but that makes perfect sense, which, would definitely be in your solar plexus or your sacral chakra, one would think. And that's what my guide said. Yes, it's mostly correlated if to a blockage in a certain chakra. And there's many ways that you can work on those energy centers so that you're opening them up for higher frequencies, higher vibration. But keep in mind how it translates, vibration translates into emotion, how you're feeling. So if you're feeling, a negative emotion, then you're going to just try to do your best to feel a better emotion, and then a better emotion, and then a better emotion. It takes a little bit of work, and that's hard when life is going on. I get it. But the good news is that because the earth is going, and you're submerged in it, you're just going to be naturally submerged in a higher frequency that feels more like love. And with so many people awakening, there's a lot more people that they're consciously paying attention to their emotions they're feeling, and they're trying to feel a better one. And then we are submerged in that too, just like the flame the one thing that I could show you that I planned yesterday, the flame. You are the flame, and everything around you, you're going to feel it. So what are you contributing? You're contributing to that wind. You are part of that wind that's moving everyone else's flame. So what are you contributing? That's huge. That should be a t-shirt. I mean, add something great to the wind. So, my guides say all the time too, if you are just in your house singing by yourself, playing your favorite songs, and just enjoying what you're doing in your home alone, you are still making all of us better. You are contributing to making all of us feel better. And we can, you all know sometimes you feel bad and you don't know why. And a lot of times you feel good and you don't know why. And that is because you're submerged, you're energetically connected to everyone else. So pay attention to what you are contributing to the whole. Okay, yeah, what this, dare I try to, yes, I want to make art all the time also, Mary, I agree. And that's because that's what brings you joy. And I would highly encourage that any of you, I'm really going to, we have a few minutes. I'm going to figure out this slide. I really am. No, I messed something up, and I can't show you guys my slides. But I can go to them. So when they're talking about relieving symptoms, right now I'm looking at my slide, and but I'm going to tell you what my guide said about relieving symptoms, and then you can tell me which ones you want to talk about. Actually, this one's huge. They said, number one, do not add to the problem with your thoughts. So what does that mean? Well, and they really went into a lot of detail about this, and it made perfect sense. So you have been making decisions based in fear without realizing it. Most of us have. So a lot of us are working jobs that we hate. We are in relationships that are a struggle. We are in friendships that aren't feeding our soul. We're not taking time for our hobbies because we think that we can't. And so when you feel a slight discomfort in your body, um, this is just what the guide said. Don't be mad at me. But they're like, you feed that because you really want an excuse to stay home sick. And it makes sense. Like or maybe, you want to feel better. People give you love and attention when you're feeling poorly. So you want to feel better. So you take those, what could have just been a minor irritation, and you you feed it, and so then you feel worse, and then you feel worse, and then you feel worse. And so number one, accept that it's just a minor discomfort that is showing you there's a blockage, and then do some of the other things. But definitely do not feed the problem with thinking. Definitely don't Google your symptoms. You'll think you have 10 diseases. You go to the ER. And by the way, I'm not a medical doctor, so maybe just do whatever makes you comfortable. But I can tell you that I actually I went to several doctors about my hearing, especially, and they can't find a problem. Imagine that. They can't, because they're not looking at the energy of the earth or the collective. That's why they can't find a problem. But the point is that, yeah, you get a little scared. And if you're scared because of your symptoms, find your peace of mind, do your testing or whatever you have to do that gives you the peace of mind, because you need that. But also, if they can't find the problem, then accept that this is probably the problem that we're talking about right now. And I'm going to talk about ways to fix that. So number one, don't feed on a minor irritation. Now, they are not talking about healing. They were clear, like, this is totally different than if you have a real physical problem. This is just talking about those minor symptoms that you could easily just be like, okay, yeah, I feel a little dizzy, but it's no big deal. I'll go home and I'll do a few of these next things that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to Google why am I dizzy and go to the doctor, because they're going to look for, something that's probably going to be really scary. So let me look at my next thing that you guys can't see, but I can. You would love it if you could. I work so hard on these. Okay, next, be present. Be in the present moment. When you're feeling any of these symptoms, the answer pretty much to everything is be present. So when you're in the present moment, you're not concerned about, you're just not feeding fears, and you're not feeding. Now, if you are feeling really fatigued or really irritable, there, being in the present moment isn't going to be the exact answer. You're going to have to take some other steps. But that's one thing that you can always do to feel better, is be present. And how do you do that? You use your physical senses. So what are you seeing right now that you enjoy? Be grateful for that. What are you touching that you enjoy? What are you smelling that you enjoy? Try to use your senses and try to find some gratitude about what your senses are going through in the moment. And that can really, really help. Next, and this is the list that my guides have given me that I'm just reading off, that you guys could be reading if I was tech savvy enough. Be gentle with yourself and give yourself some grace. Okay. Don't feel bad that you're thinking, oh, I'm feeling bad because I have blockages. I have fear, and I hate my job. No, be gentle with yourself. We're changing for the better. We're all moving on to a better place, a more loving environment, a more loving society. It's getting better. So don't beat yourself up that it's going to take a minute to shed what we're carrying. And you know, some of our fears are really cellular. It takes a minute, you know, to get rid of to change fears into love. So be gentle with yourself and give yourself some grace while you're learning, while you're changing, while you're adapting. Next, meditate. Now, my guides, you know, I know some people don't like that word, but probably if you're here, you don't mind that word. But anyway, my guides have said many times, meditating is more important than everything else you do, including eating and drinking water. Don't kill the messenger. That's what they said. And I don't even meditate every day. I pretty much do. But, you know, I'm just saying that they say meditate. And from personal experience, let me tell you this. When you take time to disengage from this individual self, right? We talked about, if you've been here through this whole thing, we're talked about this was oneness and connection and unconditional love. And when you came down to this one little body, that's when you introduced fear. Well, when you meditate and you stop paying attention to this individual self, you naturally connect with everything else. And what happens is when you're not meditating, you carry that around with you for the rest of the day. So for the rest of the day, you feel connected, you feel more loving, you feel better because you took 15 minutes of your day to connect to the truth of you, right? Because you really are that soul. You're just pretending to be this little body. So meditate. You know, there's a big, huge, that's a whole nother video on how to meditate. Start at YouTube, I guess, and look up some guided meditations. Next, drink plenty of water. I am the worst at this. I mean, water is the bane of my existence. I wish I carry it around. I have this water bottle. This is not even with me because I don't do it, but it tells me what time to drink. You know, I feel like it's bossing me around. It's always mad at me. I'm never on the right time. I've never finished it on time. I've had it for 2 years. It's truth. I should take a drink of water. You guys should too. Everybody take a drink of water. Yeah, our body's like mostly water, or it's mostly nothingness. But I think beside that, it's water. So drink water. Next, eat fresh foods. And I've just mentioned that I've been craving candy and all kinds of other foods. You know, you don't feel good. You want it in the time. You know, you don't feel good. And even like Mary said, you know, she's not wanting to eat at all. You know, you don't feel good if you don't eat. So find some fresh foods, find something that came from the earth and fuel your precious meat suit with some fresh foods that make you feel good. And I think this message is for me. But when you hear the little naggy voice that says, go get gummy worms, you can say, really, body, we're not going to do that. I'm going to try that later. Next, oh, this is very important. Go outside, get your feet in the grass, be in nature. Of course, this makes sense, right? The earth herself is lifting to unconditional love. So when you get your bare feet on the ground, you're going to be connected to that. It just makes sense. So go outside and be in nature as much as possible. Although I was just in Las Vegas, and if you put your bare feet on the ground there, don't do that. That's going to burn. I don't know. You guys got to do that at maybe 2 a.m. But you know what I mean. Get out in nature, because nature is her vibration is lifting, and that is what you are trying to do. You are trying to raise your vibration. So do that. Next, do some yoga or gentle stretches. I know some of you are going to say that that's not for you, and that's okay if it's not for you. But yoga's been around for a long time. As long as people have known about the energy centers in the body, yoga has been around. And I mean, I say that and maybe they're not related, but I feel like they are. But the point is that yoga can move stuck energy, really can. And so, and it's easy. All you do is you just watch the person in front of you and do what they say, and then you're going to move that stuck energy that you personally don't know how to move. So do some yoga, do some gentle stretching. It's good for your body. Next, um, exercise, Tai Chi, physical movement, any physical movement. And any of you who have exercised, and I'm guessing every single one of you, you know you feel better when you exercise. You know, you release endorphins and you move energy, stuck energy in your body. So exercise. I don't know anything about Tai Chi. They just said that, but it does sound like a great idea. Maybe I should look into it. Next, do some journaling, some soul searching. Um, I feel like this should have its own bullet, but it doesn't. But forgiving, this is really huge, right? Like if there's uncomfortable energy in your body, it's a low vibrating emotion. I had a beautiful chart. I'm gonna stop saying that. Um, but I've had the list of all the emotions that feel good, and it has the emotions that feel bad. Well, you know that if your body is uncomfortable, that you've got some of those emotions buried down in there. And forgiveness, I think every religion says forgiveness for a reason, because it's just necessary in order for you to, well, again, realize that you are connected. Not only are you connected, whoever you need to forgive, that is really you. Because you are one with everything else. So do some work to forgive, and do some journaling if that's your thing. Do some, there's, if you look up online, they talk about shadow work. Do some shadow work, dig in there and get out those stuck emotions, those negative emotions that are holding you back. Um, Next, consider Reiki healing. Reiki healing is quite literally just moving energy. So there are professionals out there that can move energy around and transmute it. I don't know how it works, but I've been to a Reiki healer and it's magical. And I don't know how they do it, but they can. And I tested my Reiki healer because I meditate every day. I knew where I had stuck energy. I knew exactly where it was. And she was moving along my body. She stopped right there. And I was thinking, then she asked me, how are you doing with self-love? How do you feel like you're doing with self-love? I wish she was watching here, but she nailed it on the head. She knew. And how do they know that? I don't know. But she moved it. And I felt so much better after that. So consider Reiki if you have a practitioner that you trust, or look into that. Next, any type of breath work. I believe I saw Mary commented, yes, breath work, and that's a fact. I personally love Wim Hof. If any of you knew me a couple of years ago, all I could talk about was Wim Hof. And he is really into the cold showers. I didn't even do the cold shower part. I only did the breath work part. And let me tell you that, and there's all different forms of breath work. I'm a huge Dr. Joe fan too. And he does different type of breath work. It's completely different. And as near as I can tell, it doesn't matter what type of breath work you do. There's something about the breath and you needing it and you needing to do it differently than what we just naturally do when we're awake. And it can move energy. So the people that know me, I was in a really terrible car accident years ago that crushed my foot. And every single day, every day for 9 years, it happened 9 years ago, I limp in the morning. I limp to the bathroom until it shakes out. If I do breath work every day, once a day, I did the Wim Hof method. It doesn't take long. It takes like 10 minutes. I don't know. I don't limp the next day, the very next day. You think I would do it every day. It's important. Do some breath work. It's important that, you know, when we're dead, we don't breathe. So when we're alive, we breathe. It must be really important. Find things that bring you joy, hobbies, pets, music. I tell you what, Mary's been all over this because Mary also commented that she has been coloring in art. Yes, whatever it is that you personally love, that just makes your heart sing, make time for it. You deserve it. You have earned it. Don't say you're too busy. Don't make that the lowest priority. Make it your highest priority. You know, the beautiful thing about 2020 is that people change their priorities around a little bit, and in a good way. They're like, I want more time to do the things I love. Do the things you love. Look at my all of my markers and my pencils back there. I love the art too. And so that's what brings me joy. I make time to do it. Maybe yours is something totally different. And if you don't know what that is, well, start there, trying to find something that you just really, really love and make time every day. Next, try to align with the higher frequency emotions. Yes, you would have a list of those. But take my word for it that the beautiful list that I've been working for years to compile, all of the ones feel good are high frequencies. The ones that the middle frequencies are kind of like just you're bored or complacent or indifferent. You just don't really care. Now, mind you, whatever ones that you're feeling most of the time, pay attention to that because that's what you're creating. So if you're bored, work on finding something that try to push into those higher frequency emotions, joy, excitement, love, ecstasy, you know, all of the good ones. And then if you're feeling the low ones, guilt, let that guilt go. Shame. It's not, there's no reason for it. It's only causing you problems and the collective problems. If you sit around and feel guilty all the time, the rest of the collective feels that too. No one benefits from that. Whatever you did, if you feel bad about it, that's good enough. You're not going to do it again. You feel bad about it. Let it go. You've learned, you've grown. Let go of guilt. I'm all the time preaching about guilt. So if you feel bad or negative emotions, in the very next moment that you can, try to force a better emotion. You are creative, you're powerful. You can force yourself to feel better. You can fake it until you make it. When something really bad is happening, and maybe that's a whole nother video, but when something really bad is happening, in that moment, you might not be able to force something, but as soon as the person walks away or that, you're out of that situation, just try to force a better feeling, a higher vibration, because that is going to make you feel better and that creates your future. And lastly, but not least important, is call upon your spirit team, your higher power, your angels, whatever you call them. Again, I talk to my guides for a living. I never really call for my team to help me. It's ridiculous. What? Do it. And when I do, they answer. So if you want to call it angels or spirit guides or God, Holy Spirit, whatever word you use, ask for help. They've made it pretty clear too. They're not going to step over. They're not going to step on our toes. So ask for help. If you aren't feeling terribly, ask for some help. I hope that I have given you enough tools that you can understand a little bit about why you feel bad in these times, and you can understand how to feel better. I wish that I could say that the worst of our collective is over. I don't know. It did seem like it's gotten pretty bad, but maybe we're not done with the chaos of the fear-based institutions crumbling. Maybe we're not done with that, but that's okay because you have control over you and you can force a better feeling. You can sit in your love and your light and your power, and you can create something better for all of us. You are that powerful. You are that amazing. You're creating, whether you realize it or not, and you're creating something great or you're creating something not so great. So I would encourage you to reach out also to people that, if you're having a bad day and you just can't shake it, or you're just feeling terrible, reach out to someone who can encourage you. Hey, you got this. And call a friend if you don't want to call your angels, because it is hard to hear them. We are about done. We're at the end of the hour. I thank every single one of you, especially for your patience. I know that it was sort of a mess at times, but it was my very first live stream. And I'm so grateful that you gave me your time and your energy. And I know you're going to create something remarkable. And I hope that you'll tune in next time when I have stuff. I had it all organized. I would like to say that I had it all organized. It just, when I went live, it didn't go exactly as planned, but I hope that I can figure that out for next time. So I love every one of you. When I was a teacher, I used to say that to my students and they thought I was lying, but I'm not lying. I do. I really love every one of you. And I'm so grateful that you are here and that you joined me today. So are there any questions? I will try to answer those real quickly. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. I mean, I know most of you, so you've already done that. But if I don't know you, then please like and subscribe. Mary told me that there was a little bit of a delay here. And so I'm going to just wait one more minute to see if there are any questions. And other than that, I'll let you guys get on with your weekend, and you're happy creating and you're finding something you love. Okay, I don't see any questions. So until next time.